Florida's housing market collapse 2025. Florida's housing market in 2025 isn't just cooling off, it's crumbling like a sandcastle at high tide. Entire neighborhoods once sold out in bidding wars are now drowning in for sale signs. Families who thought they bought into the dream are waking up to a nightmare. Median home prices across the state have tumbled from $445,000 to $408,000, slashing billions in equity. Insurance bills top $7,500 a year, property taxes drain another $3,000 to $6,000, and inventory has ballooned nearly 35%. What was marketed as the Sunshine State's dream is now one of America's sharpest housing reversals. And today, we're breaking down 10 cities where the fallout is most brutal. Number 10. Bradenton. Bradenton, once a magnet for retirees and remote workers, has quickly lost its shine. Median prices have slipped to $370,000, nearly an 11% drop from last year. Homeowners who rushed in at the peak are staring at $40,000 to $50,000 in equity losses. The local market is flooded, with inventory up 29% year-over-year and more than 40% of sellers cutting prices to lure buyers. Homes that once sold in days now linger for 3 months or longer. Insurance premiums averaging $6,000 to $8,500 annually in coastal Manatee County are pushing families over the edge. With Bradenton's economy still relying on tourism and hospitality, wages aren't even close to keeping pace with housing costs. The so-called coastal paradise is now bleeding value fast. Number 9. Deltona. Deltona was once pitched as an affordable suburban escape, halfway between Orlando and Daytona Beach. That promise has collapsed. Median prices hover at $310,000, but household incomes average just $58,000, leaving locals paying far above safe affordability thresholds. Inventory has surged 30% year-over-year, and nearly 41% of listings have price cuts. Imagine buying a home last year for $325,000 and watching it lose $30,000 in value in under 12 months. Insurance costs in Volusia County run between $4,500 and $6,000 annually, and with mortgage rates above 6.5%, many buyers are locked out entirely. Families who stretch their budgets to get away from city costs are now watching equity vanish and bills soar. Number 8. Naples. Naples, the crown jewel of Florida's Gulf Coast, is enduring one of the fastest luxury implosions in the state. The median single-family home now sits at $600,000, down from $740,000 just a year ago, a staggering $140,000 loss. Nearly half of all listings undergo price cuts, some slashed by 6 figures, while luxury homes linger on the market for over 4 months. Even wealthy retirees are balking as insurance bills soar past $9,000 annually, with property taxes topping $6,600 a year on mid-range homes. The once booming rental market has softened too, leaving investors stuck with empty condos. Naples was built on the promise of endless demand from the wealthy, but even millionaires are no longer immune from Florida's housing correction. Number 7. Lakeland. Lakeland, sandwiched between Tampa and Orlando, is collapsing under its own weight. Median prices hover around $320,000 after dropping nearly 10% in just 2 years. Families who bought during the frenzy have already lost $40,000 to $60,000 in value. With average household incomes at $57,000, the math simply doesn't work. A modest $300,000 mortgage at today's rates means nearly $2,000 a month before taxes and insurance. Speaking of insurance, Lakeland residents are paying $4,000 to $5,500 annually, making ownership nearly impossible for middle-class families. Inventory has surged 28%, days on market have doubled, and builders are throwing out $20,000 incentives just to move properties. What was once seen as a middle-ground market is now a financial trap. Number 6. Cape Coral. Cape Coral's canals and sprawling subdivisions once symbolized Florida's growth. Now, they're a symbol of its decline. Median prices have fallen to $350,000, down nearly $70,000 from the pandemic peak. Inventory is exploding, up 40%, with entire neighborhoods saturated by listings. Nearly half of all homes on the market have slashed prices, some by $50,000 or more. Insurance is catastrophic, $7,000 to $10,000 annually, thanks to hurricane exposure. Add property taxes of around $3,700 a year, and the waterfront dream collapses into financial ruin. With an economy tied heavily to construction and service jobs, the city simply doesn't generate the wages needed to sustain its housing costs. Number 5. Punta Gorda. Punta Gorda has gone from quiet retirement gem to one of Florida's ugliest implosions. Median prices have tumbled 14% year-over-year to $330,000. Equity losses of $50,000 to $70,000 are common. Nearly half of all homes listed see drastic cuts, sometimes $60,000 or more. Insurance is punishing, with premiums ranging between $6,500 and $9,000 annually. Property taxes add another $3,200, consuming nearly half of many families' incomes. Jobs in tourism and services can't possibly cover these costs, leaving entire communities drowning in debt. The waterfront dream is now one of Florida's clearest examples of a bubble bursting in real time. Number 4. Orlando. Orlando, the land of endless theme parks, is now in a housing nightmare. Median prices have slipped to $390,000, down nearly $50,000 in just 1 year. Inventory has jumped 33%, and more than 40% of homes face price cuts. Builders are panicking, offering appliance packages, mortgage buydowns, and cash incentives to move stock. With average incomes of $64,000, families are spending more than 45% of their take-home pay on housing. Insurance premiums ranging from $4,200 to $6,000 annually add more pain. Meanwhile, tourism, the city's lifeline, is slowing, shrinking the very job market locals depend on. Orlando's skyline may sparkle, but behind it, thousands of families are sinking. Number 3. Fort Myers. Fort Myers, once branded a bargain tropical escape, is unraveling at a shocking pace. Median prices have dropped to $360,000, erasing up to $60,000 in equity for recent buyers. Inventory is up nearly 30%, and homes that once sold in a week now linger for 3 months or more. Insurance premiums here are some of the highest in the state, averaging $6,000 to $9,000 annually. Property taxes chew up another $3,600. The economy relies on tourism and construction, industries that simply don't provide the wages needed to sustain these rising costs. What was marketed as a retirement paradise has become a financial sinkhole. Number 2. Northport. Northport is one of Florida's clearest cautionary tales. Median prices have slipped to $345,000, down $35,000 in under a year. More than 42% of listings have price cuts, while inventory has surged 32%. Insurance premiums range from $5,500 to $8,000 annually, and property taxes add another $3,500. Days on market now average nearly 3 months, leaving sellers trapped and buyers waiting for deeper discounts. With average household incomes of $60,000, families are stretched far beyond safe affordability. The city's dependence on construction and retail jobs only deepens the crisis. Number 1. Tampa. Tampa, once Florida's golden child, has turned into one of its most dangerous housing markets. Median prices have fallen to $400,000 from $445,000 a year ago, wiping out more than 10% of value. Inventory has surged 35%, and over 40% of sellers are cutting prices. Insurance premiums run from $5,500 to $7,200 annually, while HOA fees tack on hundreds more. Families earning Tampa's average $67,000 income now spend nearly half of it on housing. Once a relocation hotspot, Tampa is now bleeding jobs in tech and finance, leaving residents without the income to sustain the costs of ownership. Florida's housing crash of 2025 is more than a market correction, it's a lifestyle correction. Families who thought they'd secured the dream are realizing they've bought into a burden. From Tampa to Naples, from Deltona to Cape Coral, the Sunshine State is learning that what goes up can come down faster than anyone imagined. And hey, before you dash off to check Zillow or call your realtor, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Around here, we dig into the messy truths the headlines skip, and we do it with a straight face and a hint of sarcasm. Ring that notification bell too, because in a market this wild, missing one update is like showing up to a hurricane with an umbrella. Stick with us, you'll thank me later.